it do, YouTube? It's your boy Eli the Rebel. Welcome to the Bidding War League. It is season 5 of the Bidding War League, man. I am Eli the Rebel, head coach of the March of the Ice Cube, man. Listen. I know it's been a minute since y'all seen me play in the league, but look, it's hard to find. It's hard to find leagues. It seems like more and more leagues we're waiting on. Indigo Disc couldn't find anything for the teal mask, but then I stumbled upon the Bidding War League, hosted by Absolute Flair. I mean, I look at this roster right now on my phone. I'm currently looking at the sheet. It's a lot of people from LET, including myself. I ain't gonna hold you. So I know I'm gonna be in for a treat. In terms of playing and stuff like that. But you're probably wondering, what the heck is a Bidding War League anyway? Well, I'm glad you asked. Cause look, it's an auction league. Okay. So the way it worked here was that you had 600 points for 6 to 10 mons. You have 200 Terra points for 1 to 4 mons. So if you won a mon for say 100 points, it would cost you 100 of your 200 Terra points to Terra that mon, right? I was in an auction league before this one. It was a Natdex one with megas and all that fun stuff. And they had a set draft order where you nom something, then everybody else would nom, and then when it goes back to you, you can either upbid the last bid or pass. Because there was no set draft order, you had to bid on 3 Pokemon per day. Nomming would count as one of your 3 bids. But the roster restriction was that you could only win and bid 1 200-point mon at a time. And depending on the way your roster is set up, like especially if you had one of those 200 pointers, you then you could have no more than 3 100-point mons after that. Now if you didn't go for a 200-point mon, obviously that opens up more flexibility for your roster. But if you did take a 200-point mon, and by the way, when I say 200-point mons, those are like your Chien Pals, your Palafins of the world, right? The Chiyus, like those broken things. And then those 100-point mons were things like Ursaluna Blood Moon, and I was Annihilape on that list. I know Espathra was on that list, but it couldn't Terra. Oh god. Yeah, the group chat's gonna roast me for that one. Severely roast me for that one. But here's what ended up happening. Here's what ended up happening. So I'm not gonna lie, this is not my greatest creation. Okay, the whole week the draft was happening, I was on vacation celebrating my birthday, having a lavish time, right? So as I alluded to in the last slide, this Mew used to be a non-Terra Espathra for 130 points. Now what didn't make sense to me was I got Komodo the day before, and that could Terra, but then Espathra couldn't. But apparently the freaking I didn't see the asterisk next to it because the whole doc was on 12 size font, if not 10. I'm so used to docs having at least 18 and 20 size font with my squinty vision and whatnot. And then after I won the Espathra bid, Absolute decided to blow it up back up to 18-20 size font after I won the bid, just to see the asterisk, to just rub it in my face. Now, Absolute, I love you, but man, you didn't have to do me dirty like that. Come on now. But fortunately, I was able to release it with a tax penalty, along with actually Snorlax. So Snorlax was a 40-point mon, But then I nommed Grafai last minute for 10 because I needed a grounded poison type along with the normal type because apparently Absolute wanted to legalize last respects for some reason. Yeah. Snorlax got replaced by Grafai on this build. So apart from that, everything else I won fair and square, basically from other people, with the exception from Grafai, because again, I was on vacation. You know, I had a 200-point list, then a 100-point list, and then everything else that was neither 200 or 100 yet to start at 10. So I didn't have time to bother, you know, trying to, you know, figure out what works for me. So I decided to just steal other people's bids for the most part to make my team. And that's where you can obviously see the inspiration of why I built this team the way it is. So first was, you look at the speed tiers, right? This is a super fast team. This is a super fast team. My fastest mon in PDD was Zoroark Hisui at 110. But now I have a 110 mon, a 120 mon, and a 125 mon on the team. So speed is no longer an issue today, boys. Let's go. Yes, sir. Oh my goodness. Yes, we love it. We love it. We love it. You can also see the PDD influence in my 1D fogger, which I will talk about in a bit. I will talk about that in a bit. Don't worry. And then, you know, you can tell that, like, you know, this is an Eli team because I focused on trying to grab as many types. Now, my boy Rick, aka Leave a Message, aka Lamb Rick, aka Land Rick, bars, you know, flamed me for, you know, not grabbing rolls, but instead grabbing types, because the way I like to draft is like, let me grab a typing, let me grab something broken, build around that, and then grab all the other types around it, right? Let me fill out my type chart. But Rick is more, you know, get your rolls, don't worry about, you know, your type chart. And now I understand what he means by this, because what the heck? These rolls do not, like, I don't know if they work well together cores wise. I mean, I have a Dragon Fairy Steel, I have a Fire Water Grass, right? Like, I have that going for myself. I even have freaking Wind Power and Wind Rider on the same team for some reason. So, you know, there's a lot going on here. There's a lot going on here. So let's just jump right into the key players for our team. Now, these three mons, in my opinion, the performance of these three mons right here are going to determine whether I'm going to do well this season or not. So the first one, the Hazard Remover, Shiftry. In PDD Season 1, I only had one defogger in Decidueye. I brought it 4 times, and I won 4 games. I only clicked defog twice, but it hacked defog all 4 times it came, and I won all 4 games when I brought my only defogger. So if I can find ways to bring Shiftry to games, hopefully I can have similar success. I'm not asking for it to click defog twice. Just even clicking defog once is considered a dub in my book, to be honest. But Shiftry I used recently in BBR actually. So I'm very familiar with the, you know, the updated, I guess you can say, buff to an extent. Removing early bird for Wind Rider is very, very nice. Nobody was really using early bird like that, so you know, Wind Rider is a nice alternative to Chlorophyll for sure. It has its uses, it has its niches. It makes it so that way you can actually use Tailwind in singles, believe it or not. Next key player, another abuser of Tailwind is the Bird. The Burb is very interesting. It's very interesting. It's often compared to Zapdos, as you saw in the intro. And my main concerns with the Burb is, so obviously in pretty much almost every league, Zapdos cannot Terra. However, Kilowattrel can Terra in most leagues. And I decided to make it a Terra captain along with Mew and Ceruledge and Sylveon. So, will Terra Kilo make it better than Zapdos? I don't know. And will I be able to use all three abilities at some point? The most common way that people use Terra Kilowattrel is become Terra Water and Volt Absorb. That combination together makes it so that way you're really only weak to grass type Pokemon. However, grass type Pokemon are scared of your flying stab, so that's your quote unquote unbeatable combination per se. But I want to see if I can use Wind Power Kilowattrel. I want to see if I can use competitive Kilowattrel as well, which is why I have, the Stealth Rockers that I have along with Orthworm for spikes, right? Maybe one week I could hazard stack somebody and then trigger competitive Kilowattrel, because competitive is basically the special attacking version of Defiant. So I want to see if I can use that on Kilo at some point. And key player number 3 is the Shapeshifter. I call Mew the Shapeshifter because it can do a whole bunch of different sets, right? It lost access to self-recovery. It never had Wish to begin with, which is why I picked up Sylveon as a Wish passer. It's literally a stupid hack to have, where if you draft an evolution, it comes with Wish. You know what I mean? It's like if you draft a ground type or a rock type, it always has rocks. It comes with the price, right? So the idea of me drafting Mew over Espathra is the fact that it can Terra into a fairy type for Drain Kiss or a fighting type for Drain Punch, and just become it, and just reverse and absolutely reverse sweep people the way Espathra can. Now, the way Espathra does it is with Terra and Speed Boost. Mew only has Synchronoise, which has its perks and things like that. And then obviously I can cure myself with like Refresh if I really need to. But the reason why Mew is key player number 3 is because I need to make sure that like I always bring a different set with Mew. What makes Mew so great in draft is its unpredictability, and I made it a Terra captain to add more layers of unpredictability-ness, if that's even a word. So my goal for this season, on top of winning games, is along with being able to remove hazards and things like that, is will I be able to be versatile with Mew? Because Mew can be versatile under the right hands. I just need to figure out how to do that. So that's gonna be a lot of fun to figure out. I'll get there when I get there, but I'm super excited to upload this season for y'all, man. I'm gonna be uploading this league every Friday, so that way there's no overlap with SPL, GBU, all IBL, all of those wonderful leagues that are being up right now. So expect these to come out every single Friday. There may be some overlap with PDD season 2. So if you're excited for this or PDD season 2, go ahead and sub up, man. Go ahead and sub up for real. We're trying to get to 100 subs so I can go ahead and celebrate that milestone with a live stream for y'all. So that's gonna be a grand old time. That's all I can say. But with that, it's been your boy Eli the Rebel. I will catch you guys next week, next Friday, man. Peace.